podcast studios. This is After 9 with Scott and Kat.
Hey now.
Hello, friends.
What's going on, Kat? How are you?
Good.
It's Monday. It's
a very rainy and shit.
Oh, it's total shit. We've done this rant a few times in the past over the years, and I'm going to do it again. And I don't know if there's any other radio broadcasters that listen to After 9, but I'm sure they do. The holidays between Canada and the States, they got to figure it out. Because when it's a holiday in America and it's not in Canada, we have to carry on and do our regular shit. Unfortunately, the bulk of the things that get talked about on the radio are things that happen in America, and they don't have any media working this weekend because it's a holiday. So we won't know about any of that until tomorrow.
I know some people who work with companies or work with for American companies here in the States too. They're kind of in similar. It's kind of awkward, but they benefit from it, if anything, because they're like, well, we're not going to work today, and we didn't work last Monday either because we have a holiday this day. We can't send stuff to them and vice versa, and they have a holiday this day, so they basically have extra bonus days. So it's nice when it works out in your favor, but when it doesn't, yeah, it's kind of frustrating.
The more I think about it, the more I think banking. Banking is the perfect industry. They're closed so much.
Yeah.
If it's even a sniff of a holiday coming up, they're going to shut down for the day.
Yeah.
If another country that they deal a lot with is shut down, they're basically, we're working, but just work from home.
That's true.
Not really much we can do. Bankers have got the hours. Every time we do that long weekend rundown, and on Monday, government offices, post offices, and banks are going to be closed.
Always banks.
They're always closed.
Yeah, that's true.
Have you gone into a bank recently?
Yeah, I have.
I'm hearing from more and more people, and I don't know if there's anything to it or part of a bigger thing, but apparently it's getting harder and harder to take out cash. Like they almost resist you a little bit when you want to take out a large sum of cash.
Really?
They throw up all kinds of roadblocks and red flags. I get that there's a lot of uncertainty around the banking industry now. For years, they've been telling us it's going to be fine, everything will be good, soft landing. But lately, I'm hearing from more and more people that they're worried about what's going to happen when all these mortgages come up for renewal. The banks might not have enough money. They might not if people start defaulting.
Yeah, I have seen people complain before because it's like, do you have a right to ask someone what they're doing with the money or why they need the money? Like, it's my fucking
it's your money.
Give me the cash. It's just give me the cash. Like, what are you? You can't ask me that. That's none of your fucking business.
Right. But
it's
they
true.
are.
I understand that frustration for sure.
Like it used to be if you needed like a large sum of cash or if you needed a different currency, you would phone the bank and say, hey, I'd like to come in and pick up some euros or some rubles or whatever.
Yeah.
Now they want you to call for like fairly small Canadian withdrawals.
Yeah. I remember the last time I took out like a large sum of money, if you will, but I remember her asking me, and I always thought it was kind of awkward because even if you're trying to ask in a social way, it's none of your fucking business. It's almost like when you go to a grocery till and you're checking out, you don't ask people about what they're buying. Like, I suppose some things are fair game, but you can't be like, oh, extra lubricated condoms, looking to have a fun night tonight. You're not supposed to like talk about the items. So same thing should go for a bank. You didn't need to be like, so are you buying? What are you buying? What are you getting with this money? I always find that to be very intrusive too. Like none of your fucking business, Karen.
I would never answer that question.
No.
It's none of their business. You know, I think if a bank started asking me, what do you want your money for? I'd start thinking, I got to find another fucking bank or a big safe. Because I do not want to answer these questions for you people that don't seem to work that much.
I don't like that. Just take it out and ask if there's anything else you can do. That's it.
I want to talk about your weekend in a few minutes because I love what you did. But before we get to that, and I got to tell you about mine too and what I'm doing later on today.
Yeah.
It occurred to me as I was watching my girlfriend go out the door again on the weekend because it was another weekend of confirmations and first communions and all the shit that drags people in education out of the home on the weekend, which they don't get paid for, by the way. Just saying. Yeah. But you must be up to your ears in year-end stuff, too. I mean, the school year's done in a month now.
Yes. So there's a lot of cute things that schools are doing. My school every year will do like a family fun night, whatever. And then you can go to the school, go to the gymnasium. Like for me, I'm not interested in that. But that's cool that you do it. My friend, though, this weekend, I go out together with my girlfriends on Friday night, and she was reading the email that she got from the school. This is outrageous. I think. I don't know. Like, or is it not? Am I expecting too much? But she said, listen to this email. So they're doing their typical end of the year family night. And that's nice that they do that, I suppose, right? So they'll invite you all to the school. And like I said, for the school that my kids go to, it's just a movie night. So you get to watch a movie on the big screen in the gymnasium. And there's probably some tables set up with, either selling snacks or whatever. It's a small, low-key movie night, right?
Why do they do that, by the way? You'd think when I was a kid, there was nothing that could drag me to school outside of the hours I actually had to be there. Why would I intentionally come back to be social?
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't know how busy it gets. I think if you live close to the school, that's the only way I could see it being popular with maybe like the grades 6, 7s, and 8s, because like what else are they doing going to the mall? So maybe they'll all be like, yeah, let's go to the movie. Like, I don't even know, because usually also they're like they're safe for everybody. So they're like Disney movies and stuff. I don't even know if grade 6, 7s, and 8s would even want that. To be honest with you, I'm not sure. I think it's more of a let's show everybody that we're here for them at the end of school. I don't know. I don't know.
I would appreciate just a note. Oh, you're here for me. Okay, great. Noted. Thanks.
So my friend's kids' school is doing a family picnic on the grounds. And it's like an evening or whatever, right? So like you go to school like regular, you go home, you get your shit together, and then you go. And they're doing a family picnic. So everybody come for a picnic at the school. We're going to lay out your blankets and watch a movie. You must pack your own supper. It says right in the thing, like, keep in mind, all families must pack their own supper and bring their own blanket.
Oh.
So what really are you providing here? A lawn?
A lawn.
A not well manicured lawn, too.
No,
and I
your
understand,
lawn at home is way better.
I understand, like budgets, right? So the lawn at the school ain't the fucking greatest, and there's kids trampling all over it. So fine. So you want us to think of this. So my little kids come home. Holy fuck, it's crazy. I got to empty out the lunch packs and check their books and check the communication book and sign back whatever needs to be signed back for whatever reason, and make sure the library book is in there for the next day and all the other things. And then on top of that, I'm cleaning out all that stuff and packing dinner and going back to school, bringing my own blanket to sit on the lawn and watch a movie on a relatively small screen amongst a bunch of other randos. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of... Get a food truck or something. Like, make it interesting.
Why wouldn't they bring in a food truck or a caterer or something?
Even if you had to pitch in. Like, I understand. Like, it can't be free. I get that. But, like, hey, every family, let's say per child it's $5. And per adult, like whatever, per person is $5. Let's get a food truck or several food trucks. That sounds like reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's like pack your own supper and bring your own blanket, bitch. Like, no, thank you.
What are you moving?
Stay at home. I'll just stay here. Like, what is happening? It's just kind of strange. So I know every school does things a little bit differently. Some do it way, way better than others. I get it. But yeah, don't be surprised if people are like, no. But to your point about people who work in the school system working overtime right now, you're absolutely, all through the school year they do.
Sure they do.
But you're absolutely right. Now it's like, it's hectic. I've got some friends that work in various school boards, and it's stressful for them right now. They're in their stress season.
Yeah. And kids aren't helping. It seems like we've had a full moon once a week lately.
Yeah.
And it's the end of the year. The weather's nicer. They're all hopped up, and that's fine. Kids are always going to be kids, and we expect them to get a little excited toward the end of the school year. For me, though, like, I hear the argument every year, and I may even have made the argument in the past when we've had labor disruptions and the unions freaking out and rah, 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 rah. And I think to myself, well, you get the Christmas break and you get the March break and you get the whole summer off, and it doesn't seem like that bad a gig, to be honest with you, and you get paid really well with an exceptional pension and probably an early retirement. But the amount of hours that they put in that you don't see off the clock, whether it's at home writing or report cards or marking things or having to go to these, it's my class's fucking grade 8 confirmation. Yeah. I guess I got to go to that. You're not being confirmed. I don't know why you would have to go other than the fact that you're the teacher, but they got to go to all this shit. And they don't get credit for stuff like that. And that's unfortunate too.
The time and the money. There's also a ton of teachers that put in their own money to buy supplies. Or buy those extra treats at the end of the school year. Like my kids, we're lucky. They are at a great school and the teachers care. Like they give a shit. They're bringing in, like they already told us in advance all the different days. They're bringing in freezies one day and ice cream for the kids. I know that's coming out of the teacher's pocket. That's not coming out of the school board's pocket. It's hard. You know what? It's frustrating too. I've got some friends who, I don't know, this might be one of their last years teaching, and that makes me sad just because of the way things are going. They're just upset. But that's maybe a conversation for another day. But that's more so like the lack of resources they have. It's because it's been a weird school year, I think, for a lot of them.
Interesting. Well, you're almost there for those who work in the education.
Yes.
I used to say teachers, but I realized there are many more people that work in the education system.
Anyone working in the boards, hey, you're about a month away.
You're almost there. Kat, it happened again this weekend. 12 people injured yesterday aboard a Qatar Airways flight from Doha to Dublin, Ireland. They hit turbulence over Turkey. Now, I don't know what's going on because when we had that incident last week, it was, Where was that? There was a plane over like Australia,
Yep.
Pacific Rim area that went through what they called extreme turbulence. The flight dropped thousands of feet in seconds. People were hitting the roof. Stuff was flying everywhere. It was a goddamn mess. One person died. They had a heart attack, but they still died.
And really, I think that came out of holy shit. You know, like this is crazy.
Right. And people had said on the news as they were discussing this that, well, that kind of turbulence, man, you don't see that. That's like once every 10 years will a plane encounter turbulence like that. Well, now we're at 2 incidents in 1 week. 8 of the injured had to be hospitalized after the Boeing 787 Dreamliner landed as scheduled in Dublin. It was met on the tarmac by EMS. A passenger told Irish broadcaster RTE he saw people hitting the roof and food and drinks flying everywhere. Just 5 days after that incident with a Singapore Airlines flight from London. So it's a Dreamliner's Boeing, isn't it?
I wish I could find. Yeah, I wish I could find. I was reading an article about like, obviously something's going on. Basically, it's like right. We can all tell that something's going
up.
on. Like none of this is normal. So many occurrences, and they're absolutely right. Like those things do happen, few and far between. Though we're hearing about these stories more and more. I wonder if it's enough to make some people be like, I'm not flying. I'm not flying if I don't have to. And those who do have to, like, there's a lot of people that have to travel for work. Doesn't it make them nervous a little bit? I don't know. I don't want to like ring the alarm bell or anything and make everyone feel like nobody should be flying right now. Like, fuck, I just did not long ago and knowing that some shit was up probably. But it's scary.
Did I tell you the pitch that I got about flying?
No.
It was, I love to fly. Personally, I love to travel and I think it's great, but I also don't like all these stories here. So what was suggested to me, because it's a more convenient and affordable alternative, not even because of all the issues in the sky, is a plane timeshare. So basically, you and like 20 other people go in on it and you split the cost of a private jet. And the private jet, when none of the 20 of you are using it, could be chartered out and pay for itself, or you can all use the jet.
Yeah.
And if you got to go to Florida and maybe somebody else in your group of 20s going to California, they just work it all out so that everybody gets where they've got to go. Everybody's on a very safe, well-maintained plane with a dedicated crew. And when you split it with enough people, apparently it's very, very comparable to flying commercial. But you got to get enough people in that want to put the capital down and own that plane.
Yeah.
Or fractional ownership, I think it was. Anyway, it was an interesting premise. Not for me, not until interest rates come down, but I liked hearing about it. And when you hear stuff like that and you see all these rich elites that are flying around in private jets, it seems like they've got no issues. You can leave whenever you want to leave, not when the plane is scheduled to leave. You can go wherever you want. It seems like a great idea.
It does. It does. I
just need another $1 million.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. As long as, because you're also hiring a crew essentially, right? Like you said, but you could also probably find someone who's willing to do that, and they do that for several different groups, right? So I'm a pilot not just for, Scott and his group of 10. I'm a pilot for, Kat and her group of 10. So between both of them and all the groups in between, I'm pretty busy throughout the year and give them a good enough salary. I mean, it's a neat idea on paper. Could it work? I don't know.
It's really going to come down to, I want to use the plane this weekend. And somebody else is like, fuck you. I want to use it this weekend.
Well, like a timeshare, this would have to be well in advance. Like in January, you set your dates for the rest of the year. And if you miss one, too fucking bad.
Well, the nice thing is it's got, the way they explained it to me is typically it's got a lot of availability throughout the week as people prefer to travel on the weekend. So if you're just chilling on a Tuesday afternoon and it's raining and miserable here and you want to go to the beach, get in the plane and go to the beach where it's not raining.
That'd be sweet. Could you imagine?
That'd be great.
That'd be great.
Hey, we're going to go to North Carolina for a swim. We'll be back around 9. Great.
Sounds good.
I fucking love it.
Yeah.
I want to give credit where credit is due here for a number of different reasons to a pair of Purolator truck drivers. Now, not Purolator delivery people, the people who drive the actual 18-wheelers that haul stuff between the Purolator facilities.
Okay.
These two drivers were out of Guelph, and they're being hailed heroes for what happened. It was a few weeks ago, but we're just now learning the story from police. One driver, she was driving her 18-wheeler along the 407 right near the 410. That's Brampton area for those who are outside of the GTA. The driver spotted a guy walking along the highway. And I don't just mean walking along the shoulder. He was walking across the highway, the
no.
407, where there's no rules and people go as fast as they want.
You're still not supposed to walk on it, though.
No. So the transport driver, she pulls over. She starts yelling at the guy, "Get off the road. You're going to get hit. Get off the road." He looked at her, put his head back down, and kept walking. He wanted to get hit by a car.
Oh, okay.
She realized this guy's in a mental health crisis. He's not in his right state. So the driver had a choice. She could just call the police and carry on with her route. She could wait and just make sure everything's okay and possibly see this guy get hit by a car in real time. Apparently, cars were like weaving around this guy, and he almost got hit a few times.
He was trying to at this point, right?
Yeah, he wanted to end his life. Unfortunately, he was in a mental health crisis. But good on this driver for realizing it. She pulled her 18-wheeler back onto the 407, live lanes of traffic, and got right behind the guy so that he couldn't get hit by a car. She was on the phone with the OPP, who were like, "We've got cops on the way. Don't do anything dangerous. You're going to cause an accident." She still safely managed to follow behind this guy and protect him. The guy, still wanting to get hit by a car, tried to cross over a few lanes of traffic. This woman steered that 18-wheeler like a pro and followed this guy, weaving in and out of traffic, protecting him so he couldn't get hit by a car. At one point, another truck, which just happened to be another Purolator truck, pulled in and assisted this woman, protecting the guy from getting hit by a car until the OPP showed up and took him into custody for his own health and got him the mental health supports that he needed.
I wonder if she radioed to the Purolator team as well, and that's what had the second Purolator truck coming and letting them know, "Hey, this is what's happening here. If anyone else is around that could help me, please."
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean...
And I'm sure they're not. I even wonder if, like, I don't know, I shouldn't call it Purolator specifically, but I know some companies might not like that at all.
Some might.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the police would like that. That could have very easily turned out differently.
It could have absolutely turned out differently. That's definitely not something that you're supposed to do. But I understand as a human, right? You want to do the right thing. It's about being human first for a lot of people, and I understand that. And by all means, saved a life.
Hey, we all know about some of the civic activities that go on. This weekend in Kitchener was Welcome Fest. Welcome Fest is a fest to announce the other fests that are going to be happening this year.
Believe it or not, guys, Welcome Fest to welcome all the fests.
It's like the announcement about an announcement.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So they announced there's some big stuff coming up. Neighbors Day is a big one in Kitchener.
Yeah.
That's going to happen in early June. There is the Multicultural Festival, Canada Day, yada, yada, yada. And in Toronto, we've seen them like shut down the DVP and the Gardner so people can go for a bike ride. In Hamilton this weekend, they did Open Streets Hamilton. And it's used to be an annual event. It was a total pain in the ass because they shut down all the streets and traffic is just shit everywhere except for on the actual street where there's no cars. Now they've announced they're going to do several of them and mix it around into different neighborhoods. I totally understand the need to have people feel like they're in a community. But I also very much understand the need for people to get shit done. And if they've got to get shit done, we can't have roads closed everywhere. So I don't want to shit on the idea here, but I'm starting to think that all these things that city council thinks is a great idea, maybe we should rethink them. Maybe there's no more closing down the Gardner for a fucking bike ride anymore because the tens of thousands of people that would be using the Gardner are now on in-town routes and clogging up everything. And the same thing happened in Hamilton this weekend. Now, these guys, particularly tone deaf, not only did they do it this weekend when it was supposed to be, yesterday, actually, it was a decent day. People were out. They were there. But it was also the weekend they had the Lincoln Alexander Parkway, closed for construction, and there was a goddamn Ticats game.
Oh, no.
Who thought this was a good idea?
No. Yeah,
Who thought that was a good idea?
That's poor timing. And I hear you. There's a lot of things you want to do things for the community for sure. But yeah, in cases where we're get it right first before we can do that. And by that I mean like fix all the issues that we have before we do things like that where we're shutting down. Because there's other places you could have done it. You just chose to do it there.
Yeah. Do they not have calendars or do they just not realize the impact on people?
Maybe both.
Oh, that's entirely possible. Maybe it is both for that matter.
People, by the way, people think that people shut down on a Sunday. That's why. That's a mentality of, I don't work on Sunday, so probably neither does anyone else. Nobody else has anywhere to go.
That's
Do you know what I
probably
mean?
exactly what it is.
These are Monday to Friday 9 to 5 people going, oh yeah, nobody fucking needs to be there on a Sunday. Nobody needs the roads on a Sunday. That's probably where it comes from.
7 days a week, 18 hours a day of rush hour.
Yeah, it's not the way, that's not reality. People do need to get places on Sundays and Saturdays and every day of the week.
Do you care about the NHL playoffs now that the Leafs are out?
Not at all. I had it on the weekend. I did. I watched the Rangers win.
Uh-huh.
Great. Happy for them. But yeah, I mean, I'm not that into it where I'm like, I have to watch the next game.
Oilers and Dallas tonight. Oilers and Dallas. They're tied 1 game apiece. The Rangers lead Florida 2-1. So weeks ago, I kind of had a feeling that it was going to go down this way. So I put $20 on the Oilers and I put $20 on the Rangers. If both of them go on to face each other in the Stanley Cup, I stand to win a lot of money. A lot.
How much? We need to know.
Okay, you know that my typical bet
How many zeros?
I bet like $1 here
Yeah,
and there.
yeah.
For me to bet $20, and I know that I'm going to lose one of those 2 bets, but the way I see it is the worst I can do is lose $20. I'm going to make $120.
Look at you go.
Kat, this is a serious escalation in my gambling addiction.
Here's how it starts, right? I know what some of you guys are thinking in the back of your mind. Oh, this is how it starts.
This
right?
is how it
you start with
starts,
$5, you work your way up to 20. Next thing you know, you're fucking dropping your entire life savings. No,
Eyes wide open.
it won't escalate that high.
I know I'm doing it, and I'm going to do it anyway. We're going for a big bet. Tonight, actually, I've got to do something I've never done.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear how this goes, and tomorrow we'll get an update. You're headed to a medical facility. What is it? Do you have to go to your doctor's office for this? A hospital? How
No,
does
it's
that
a
work?
doctor's office.
Okay.
So the whole thing is fucked. I've got a couple of different issues going on that I'm dealing with. So I'm perfectly healthy. It's just I have an ankle that was probably broken
For years.
about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
They're finally going to repair that. And this doctor, by the time, it took almost a year to get a referral to a specialist. And this doctor has stalled this like more than you can imagine. First, he's got to send me for an x-ray. Then he wants an ultrasound. Then he wants an MRI. Then he wants a CT scan.
Jesus.
And it's like 3, 4, 5 months in between all of these things. So now he's finally out of tests that he can send me for. And he says, we're going to fix your ankle. I said, all right, great. When? It's like, probably by November. And I'm thinking, November? It's fucking May. What's going on here? Is it that bad? But just to emphasize how bad it is, for another completely other issue, years ago when I was coaching lacrosse, I got hit in the face with a ball.
Yes, I remember this.
And we all have it's called a floor underneath your eye. It's your orbital floor, part of your orbital bone. Well, mine is detached. So there's a surgical procedure they can do where they just reattach your orbital floor and they reset things, and then I won't have such bad bags under my eyes. Well, I had the appointment with my doctor about this back in October. Mm-hmm. In October, he said, going to send you for a CT scan, and then we'll do a follow-up. He wanted a fresh picture of it. Okay, fine. Just the other day, last week, I got a letter in the mail saying that my CT scan is booked. Keep in mind, I asked for it last October.
So that was okay. That's a long time.
May, I get the letter telling me when the CT scan is going to be.
Oh, no.
It is scheduled for December the 16th at 10:30 at night at Joe Brandt Hospital.
Jesus Christ.
Over a year.
Why don't we have these machines we need?
I
why
don't
don't we
know.
have them at every hospital? And why don't we, what is happening?
And just to kick me in the dick one more time, the follow-up appointment to follow up on the CT scan is New Year's Eve at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Shut up.
I swear to God. I'm like, why is the doctor even working on New Year's Eve?
What the fuck?
That's how bad it is right now, Kat.
Oh, it's
People
so
are waiting
bad.
months and months to get diagnostics, and it's so terrible.
So bad.
So anyway, today I'm going, in preparation for the surgery in November, I'm going today for a shot of cortisone.
In your ankle.
Yes.
Just to be clear, this is not going into his orbital bone.
No. Fuck, I wonder what that would
Could
feel
you
like.
imagine? What's that going to do to you? Okay, so I've never had it done, but I know people who have, mainly people with like knee issues and things like that.
Hips.
And they do swear by it.
Yep.
And they do swear like it does help. So by all means, you should at least be feeling better after it. But I also know it's a needle, and I also know that you don't do well with needles.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
And I've already told the girlfriend she doesn't need to come with me. I'm good. I'm an adult and I don't need my girlfriend to come with me. My mom's going to come, but
Shut up. Is your mom's
I swear to God.
Oh my
but
God.
she offered too. Like they know
That
me.
would have been hilarious.
They're like, oh, a needle, eh? Do you want me
Yeah.
to come with you? And I'm like, no, Mom, I'm in my 40s. I'm an adult. I don't need you to. In the back of my mind, though, I'm thinking, it wouldn't be the worst thing. We could go for dinner afterwards.
Okay, so I'm wondering if they have like an opportunity for maybe they could close a curtain because it is your ankle. It's not like you have to see it.
Right.
So you can look away. They do, I know, if you want to ask, they've got, usually have little iPads to keep the kids busy when they get like their booster shots and stuff like that. Maybe you could get something on the iPad going, right? Maybe like knowing there's a sucker at the other side of the shot.
No, you're patronizing me.
Or
At first, I thought you were being serious. Now you're just being a bitch.
Or they could put a sheet up. No, they really could though. If the visual of the needle is what might get you, if there's 2 nurses available, depending on what the availability is here, or if the doctor's doing, I don't know. Sometimes they could put a sheet up so you don't see it.
Right.
Right?
This is happening in his office. I'm paying approximately $35 for this.
Okay.
And it's weird because I talked about it on the radio show today and people were texting in and I had a whole wide range of things. People saying, wow, that's weird that you have to pay for it. Mine was free. So I'll ask a question. Why am I paying for this if some people get it for free?
Your benefit should cover it.
It comes out of our healthcare spending account.
Healthcare spending account. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then people told me, don't worry about it. It doesn't hurt. I don't believe those people. People who say it doesn't hurt, I mean, everything. It's a needle poking your skin. That's going to hurt, even if it's just a little pinch.
And also, where did they get it would be my question. Because I think it probably depends where you get it. Like a lot of things. Are you getting it in your knees? Are you getting it in your, I don't know where else they do it. Shoulders, maybe. I don't know where they put cortisone. And then obviously you're getting it done in your foot. That might hurt more.
It might. Well, this is going right in underneath the ankle bone. You know the little round part on your ankle?
Yeah.
right in under there.
Oh, God.
They're going to put it in.
That's going to be a long one.
I think.
That's gonna
Don't
be like
do that.
That's going to be like a
no.
4-incher.
So anyway, fuck off. I'm nervous enough.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, it probably will be.
You'll feel great after. You'll probably be dancing your way in here tomorrow.
Well, this is the thing. Everybody's telling me, oh my goodness, you'll feel so good when it's done. It's going to burn for a little bit, but after that, it'll be great when you're done and no pain and you'll be tap dancing. And I'm thinking, well, if that's the case, why do we have surgery? Why don't they just keep giving people the shots?
And yeah, I guess you could, but it doesn't fix the problem. Cortisone's one of those things that masks it, right? It doesn't fix the actual issue that your foot is broken.
It is. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. Anyway, I might have a completely other perspective on cortisone for you tomorrow.
Yeah, great.
How's our time? We do have the replay of Missed Connections coming up in just a sec. Before we get to that, one quick story here. A cryonics company, they're called Southern Cryonics, has announced that they have successfully cryogenically frozen a man from Sydney, Australia. The man passed away in his 80s earlier this month. He contacted the company, or was contacted by the company. They contacted the company shortly before he died. The guy's family did, and said, hey, listen, we think we want to have him cryogenically frozen. How much is it going to cost us? It was about $100,000 US.
Okay.
With that, they move the body into the hospital's cold room and they pack it in ice. Then they pump this liquid through all of the body's systems and cells to preserve the cells. They then package it in dry ice and bring the temperature down to minus 80 Celsius. Then it goes into storage for between 50 and 100 years. They say in 50 to 100 years, your body is still going to be shit. It was in its 80s. It was old.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's not what we're after here.
But they will be able at that point to basically download your memories, your thoughts, everything into either a new body or some sort of presence. Maybe
like
by
a
then we'll have
robot?
robots. It probably
Probably.
will at the rate we're going.
Yeah.
But it would still be you. You would be having the same conversation with me as radio DJ who lives in Ontario and has kids and blah, blah, blah. Even though it's not actually you. It's fucking freaky to think about.
I knew this sounded familiar, and this is an exact show they have right now.
Really?
On Prime. It's called Upload.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the premise. The premise is the year 2033, people have the ability to upload themselves to a virtual world after their death. And it follows people who choose to do it. So it's very similar. Theirs, of course, is predicting to happen in less than 10 years. But how do you feel about that? Like money aside, fuck the money part. Like don't worry about whether you have the money or whether you don't have the money to do this. But let's say you have the ability to do it. Like hey, you find out you've got something, it's terminal. You get to choose, of course. Your family doesn't get to choose after you die. You get to choose. Are you going to choose to be cryogenically frozen in the hopes, I suppose, that they can upload your brain and maybe your memories along with, I don't know what the fuck they're going to be able to do or how they even do that. But let's just say that they could. Would you want that? Like, would you want to actually like wake up is the best way I could put it in 100 years as like a what? Like, I don't know, like a fucking vacuum.
Wow, I'm a Roomba now. Fuck.
This is not what I requested.
Well, if I'm going to be a robot, I want to be one of those pool robots.
But that's the thing is I'm thinking like worst case scenario. What if you do get uploaded into like something you don't want to fucking be?
This is the problem. We shouldn't be interfering with these natural processes. Why would anyone want to hang on to life in 2024 on Earth when you don't even know what else is out there?
I don't know what it's going to be, what it's going to look like.
Maybe this is hell and your next life is going to be the good one. What are you hanging on for?
Yeah, I don't know. What if you end up like a fucking drone or something like that and you just like fly around? I don't know.
Right?
Is that cool or is that not? What if someone doesn't charge you too? Like really, it's up to humans at that point to control some of it. Or they end up putting you in a body. Let's say they're able to, like, someone's going to die and they're young, and then they put you into that body. That's also kind of fucking weird.
I've spent like 40 years, several times a day with my penis. And if I were all of a sudden in 80 years, I just wake up and it's totally me, but if that's a different dick, that's not mine.
Dick. That's not my dick.
That's not my dick. And I don't know where it came from, but I was very familiar with the old one, and this is not it. I knew how the old one worked, and this one is not the same.
It's a strange concept to me, too. I don't think I could bring myself to do it, even if it was offered in front of me. Like, sign off on this, and it'll happen when you die. Like, no, I think I'm good. I think I'll take the chances on the afterlife, if there is one.
It takes 10 hours to do the process. And I'm going to stand corrected. They bring you all the way down to minus 200 degrees Celsius.
Jesus.
And that's where they place you in a special tank, which acts as and I quote, vacuum storage pod. You're basically stored away in a drawer.
It creeps me out.
For 50 to 100 years.
Who's walking into that warehouse too? Like, fuck, that'd be a creepy place to be.
You know what else I wonder about too is we were so convinced back in the 90s that CDs were the best thing and they couldn't get any better. You can't get any better than a compact disc. We were even burning data onto them and burning playlists onto them and everything. Now you can't find a CD anywhere. How do we know that what they're packaging us in now is going to be compatible with whatever we have in the future? Is it going to be one of those things where, oh, fuck, if there were still USB cords around, we could download this guy's brain, but we don't have any more USB cords, so fuck it.
Yeah, we don't. We don't know if that's going to be. There's too many risks here. I don't like it.
Compatibility issues. That's what I'm concerned about is, I mean, maybe it's the simple equivalent of, you were frozen on Windows 95 and now we're on Windows 15 or whatever.
Cannot compute.
Exactly.
Compute.
Exactly. All right, friends, we're going to go. Have yourself a great day. We will be back tomorrow with a brand new After 9. In the meantime, we will leave you with today's Missed Connections.
Bye, friends.
Missed Connections. Missed Connections on the Scott and Kat Show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Missed Connections. We're going to tell you stories about people looking for other people. They can't find them, so they told the story online. Other person sees it, and they either reach out or they don't. Whether they do or don't doesn't matter because the stories are great.
Oh, they really are. One coming out that made me laugh out loud. This one is called We Worked Together. You might not remember me because, well, I didn't last very long. I was hired at the diner. I was training, and it was my second shift ever. You didn't pay much attention to me because of all these customers who kept coming up. You had to work at the front, taking payments. I wanted to have my shot with you, so when I got my first break, I locked the front door and pulled a random plug to try to unplug the system you were working on.
Oh
you
really?
seemed angry at me. I thought it was quite romantic. I just wanted people to stop bothering you so we could talk, get to know each other a little bit.
Those people really get in the way when you're trying to pick up.
Management knew it was me and fired me on the spot. I'm not allowed back at that location or on the property. Please reach out so I can talk to you.
Yeah, when you get trespassed by work, that's a big problem. So you're going to have to find another way of hooking up, unfortunately.
I don't know if he'd be interested in that. Is that just the right amount of cuckoo? Or is that like...
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, The normal to cuckoo ratio is a little wonky sometimes.
You could have waited till after the shift was done for both of you?
Yeah.
Did she consider that? No.
You'd think.
Yeah.
But think of it this way. No matter what your job is, if you're interested in a coworker, yeah, just lock the front door.
Lock the front door.
Yeah, and I mean, it's forcible confinement and it's a whole lot of charges. But at least those pesky customers will leave you alone.
You could do one better. You could bring handcuffs to work and handcuff them to that place that they're at, the station that they're working at, and they have no choice but to stand there and listen to you.
Why didn't I
Yeah.
think of that?
It's romantic.
It's romance is what she's
Right?
going for, and
Yes.
nothing says romance like handcuffing you to your desk.
I'm sure we've seen that in a J-Lo rom-com somewhere, haven't we? Yeah. This next one is called The Cement Truck Hazard Hottie. On my lunch break, I went for a walk. It was a beautiful day. I stopped at a spot where they're building new homes on Mason Drive. I saw this guy, and he definitely saw me and winked. He was operating the other end of the big cement truck as they were pouring the foundation. It was fascinating. It looked like he was in charge of where the cement would go. Now, to be honest, he was hot, but not good at operating that spout thing at all. In fact, he overpoured and lost control. Like a fire hose, it swung out of control, swung back and knocked him on the ground. Now he's laying there screaming, "Stop! Stop!" And it continues to pour on his legs. The cement just keeps on coming. Even though his screams are loud, the cement wildly struck him, hitting him several times up to the neck and the face. He did regain control eventually, but the damage was done. I could tell he was kind of making everything seem fine to impress me. Everything's fine here. I'm just cemented to the ground. Meant to do that.
I'll be here forever if you're looking for me.
I think he was staring at me, and I distracted him. So at this point, the guys are all yelling, "Loser, you're so awful. Now we have to stay late again. Thanks a lot, Rick. Quick, before it hardens. F you, Rick." So the upside is, I do know this guy's name is Rick. Does anyone want to find him for me and tell him that was at least worth a date with me?
Oh, I don't know about that.
As soon as you crack him out of that foundation that he's in, let Rick know he's got a date.
What's particularly interesting to me is this seems like it's not even Rick's first time screwing up the cement truck. It seems like the crew has had enough of Rick. And it makes me wonder, why do you keep putting Rick on the spout? Put Rick in the truck or something like that. He doesn't need to be directing the concrete into the enclosure.
At a certain point, they're just going to leave Rick in the foundation. Like, well, this is where it ends for you, Rick.
Hey.
I'm not fixing it again.
Listen, dude, if you keep making your coworkers have to work late to clean up all the concrete that fell onto your lap, that's going to be a problem. They're probably just going to leave you there at some point.
Congrats, you're part of Madame Homes now, forever. Enjoy.
Hopefully they build like a convenience store or something nearby so the guy can eat.
Something fun, right?
Something fun to do or look at least, if you're going to be there forever.
Well, Rick, you idiot. At least you have a date.
In fairness, it's usually not the worst person on the construction line that ends up getting the hottie. Usually it's not the person who screws up the entire job that gets the girl. But good for Rick. He's just making everything work his way.
Good for you, Rick. Never do that job again, but good for you, Rick.
If you're still employed, call me. Oh, that's great.